So it is very obvious that Manchester United needs a left back this summer, and it is one position that we all know that Manchester United is going to address this summer. And of course, when you're talking about the left back position, you know that we have Luke Shaw in that position. Luke Shaw has been the most consistent player this season. He has started every game for Manchester United, but truth be told, I don't trust Luke Shaw to play in a season where Manchester United has to play 3 games a season and where there is no major competition, because as we all know, Luke Shaw only gets fit for Manchester United when there is an international competition for England, and there is no international competition next season. So of course you all know that Luke Shaw is definitely not going to be fit. And then also we have Patrick Dogu, who has been a promising player since he signed for Manchester United. He has done so well, but Patrick Dogu has never been that exceptional for Manchester United in the left back position. He has always been exceptional as a left winger or a left wing back. So of course we can't really count on Patrick Dogu as a starter in the left back position for Manchester United. And also even Manchester United know that they need a left back next season, and also it has been reported by Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United are looking at the left back position. So of course the player that really stands out for Manchester United in the left back position is definitely Lewis Hall, because if you're looking at one of the best left backs in the Premier League over the past 2 years, Hall has been one of the best left backs in the Premier League, and it's something that Manchester United should be looking at. He is the player we should be looking at, because of course we should be looking at the best in class in every position. So let's quickly get into this video and talk about the characteristics of Lewis Hall. So talking about the characteristics of Lewis Hall, the first characteristics I'm going to be talking about is his ability on the ball. He's a very good player on the ball. He's a player that is really going to offer Manchester United a lot of solutions in the first phase, because Manchester United, even under Ruben Amorim and under Carrick, we have had many deficiencies in the first phase, especially when a player like Heaven or Martinez is not playing. We find it very hard to build up from the back with Euro and Maguire, so we have a lot of deficiencies in the first phase. But having a player like Lewis Hall, which can provide a lot of solutions in the first phase, is very, very important, because of course in the first phase you know that when you're with the ball, oppositions are going to press, particularly in the Premier League. Every side is definitely a high pressing side. So in terms of pressing, they are definitely going to press Lewis Hall on the left hand side. They are going to try to press him, to squeeze in on the touchline. But one thing I like about Lewis Hall is that he believes in his technical ability. He believes he's a very technical player, and he can dribble past a lot of players. And the one thing I like he does is that he shifts the ball to his left foot and then uses his right to control and then move the ball and try to glide past 2 to 3 players. He's a very good player in terms of dribbling from deep areas, from the touchline up to the middle of the pitch. So he's somebody that can take the ball from deep when pressed, evade the pressure, evade the pressing of the opposition, because he's very press resistant, dribble past 2 to 3 players and try to make that final pass. So in terms of helping Manchester United in the first phase, in terms of being press resistant, moving the ball comfortably from the first phase into maybe the second and the third phase, is very, very efficient. And also outside dribbling, he's a player that can be able to make all those line breaking passes, because of course if Manchester United are going to continue with the system of Michael Carrick, which involves playing out from the back and play with your back to goal, we need players that are very good in playing those line breaking passes, because most of the times when the opposition wants to press, you don't necessarily need to dribble most of the time, because if you dribble majority of the time, you're going to lose the ball. So what Lewis Hall normally does is that he likes to play those line breaking passes, those diagonal passes from deep. So we have spoken about how Lewis Hall can be helpful in the first phase, how he can dribble, how he can make those line breaking passes to split defenses. So let's actually talk about how he can help us in the second phase, because if you look at the second phase football, you're going to find out that Lewis Hall can even provide more solution based on the way he plays. So in the second phase, Lewis Hall can either stand as a winger, or he can also invert into the midfield, or he can be in the left back position. And also from the left back position, he's a player that can play those long diagonal passes into a running striker. You could see the kind of passes that he has given both when he was in Newcastle, when he was in Chelsea. He's a player that likes to play those long diagonal passes into a striker that is running behind. And with Manchester United having lots of runners like Benjamin Sesko, Matheus Cunha, Ben Ibemo, Amad Diallo, that likes to run in behind, that likes to thrive in space and freedom, having a player like Lewis Hall that is going to be playing those ball in behind is definitely going to help in counter-attacking situation, because right now in Manchester United, I think the only player that plays those long balls in behind is Lisandro Martinez, and having a player like Lewis Hall and Lisandro Martinez in the same team that constantly these long diagonal passes into attackers is definitely going to be good. And also in terms of inverting, Lewis Hall is that player that likes to play those line breaking passes between central backs and fullbacks that can easily lead to counter-attacks. And you could see that as a fullback, Lewis Hall definitely lose one of the weaknesses of fullbacks and the kind of passes that they hate to receive, or the kind of passes they hate to defend. So he's the player that likes to play those constant passes in between fullbacks and central backs that can split the opposition midfield. So in terms of what Lewis Hall can offer in the second phase, he's that player that can be able to play those long diagonal passes, line breaking passes, and he can also make a lot of combination with his forwarders. And also with Manchester United bringing a lot of forwarders next season, probably in the left wing, or maybe a backup striker, or maybe a versatile forwarder, Lewis Hall is definitely that player that can be able to work with them efficiently. So you guys know here on Tactical Trafford that I am somebody that is big on versatility. If Manchester United is going to buy a player, we should be buying players that are very, very versatile and can play variety of position. And this is one characteristic of Hall that I like a lot, because he's a very versatile player. He's a player that likes to make a lot of combination on his wing. He's a player that likes to create triangles on both sides of the pitch. He's a player that likes to combine with the people on his position. And you can see that Lewis Hall, just like I said, he can be able to play as an inverted left back. He's a player that can be able to play the left seam role, while Kobe can move to the left hand side, or he's a player that can be able to change positions with Matheus Cunha when Matheus Cunha coming to the midfield position. So he's a player that constantly likes to create triangle up the pitch, try to create triangles until probably it might lead to an assist or a chance creating opportunity. So this is the kind of player Lewis Hall is. And he also likes to be a third man runner. He's a player that likes to run in behind defenses. He's a player that in the triangle that has been formed probably with Hall, Meno, and Cunha. Hall is definitely that player that likes to run in behind and maybe receive the pass from Matheus Cunha. He can also be a player that can be able to give those line breaking passes, while a player like Matheus Cunha is going to run in behind. So in terms of what Hall offers Manchester United in the first phase, which involves dribbling, passing out from the back confidently, having a good technical ability, Hall checks the box. And also in the second phase, where he has to combine with the midfield, where he also has to give those line breaking passes between the fullback and between the defenses, play those diagonal passes to the running striker. And also in the third phase, combining with your left winger, combining with your left sided central midfielder, doing those combinations that is going to lead to goals or assists. Lewis Hall definitely checks the box. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section if Lewis Hall is going to be a great player for Manchester United. I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Tactical Trafford. See you guys in my next video. Ciao.